Today, we're going to take dull, lackluster leather and transform it into beautiful, shining, creaking leather using Leather Sheen. Hi, I'm Cal Ryder.
And I'm Scott, Black Biker.
My handsome husband and I are going to show you how we use Leather Sheen to shine our leathers. Before we dive in, I want to show you a close-up example of the leather that has been treated with the Leather Sheen versus leather that has not yet been treated with the Leather Sheen. And you can see there's a big difference in the shine. Now, before we jump in, there's 3 important things to know so we don't run the risk of damaging your leather. First, in this video today, I'm going to be showing you how to apply the Leather Sheen to your leather from start to finish. But you have to fully buff the Leather Sheen in, or you'll run the risk of staining your leather. The liquid Leather Sheen that I'm working with does not automatically dry clear on its own. But not to worry, because I'm going to show you how to apply this liquid Leather Sheen and buff it in until every ounce of it has turned clear. Second, only apply this Leather Sheen on finished leather. That's leather that has this smooth feel to it. It'll have kind of a glossy, shiny appearance, as opposed to unfinished or suede leather, which will have a duller, more matte look to it. It will not be as smooth or as glossy as finished leather. And I always recommend doing a test of any kind of product on an inconspicuous portion of your leather just to see how it's going to react, especially if you're not sure what kind of finish your leather has. And third, ensure your leather is clean. If there's any dirt or grime on your leather, you'll want to remove it before you apply the Leather Sheen. If your leather's in fairly good condition and it only has some dirt and grime that's pretty easy to remove, you can simply wet a soft cloth with a little water and gently rub the leather to remove the dirt. However, if your leather is pretty dry or if it's pretty dirty, I recommend you start off by giving your leather a good cleaning and conditioning treatment. I have a video that walks you through the cleaning and conditioning of your leather, and I'll leave a link to it in the description of this video. So here it is, the Leather Sheen. Now, I swear by Fiebing's Leather Sheen. I've used it for years. It can be purchased right on their website, which is fiebing.com, or on various leather supply websites, and even on Amazon. So there are 2 different versions of the Leather Sheen out there. There's the liquid version and the aerosol version, and both of them are going to shine your leather just as beautifully as the other. The only real difference between them is that the aerosol version is not going to give your leather that creaking noise that so many of you enjoy with your leather. The liquid version absolutely will do that. If you aren't really looking for that creaking sound with your leather, then stick with the aerosol. It'll give your leather a decent shine, and it's easy to apply. Simply spray on a thin coat about 8 to 12 inches away from your leather, and then buff it in with a soft cloth. After the first coat is dry, you can apply additional coats, buffing in each coat. Continue this process until you achieve the shine that you'd like. I like to use the aerosol on my leather furniture because it's easy to apply without any of the mess.
Oh, by the way, it kind of stinks. So you may want to use one of these, or use in a well-ventilated area.
But today we're going to be working with the liquid, which is a little bit more involved, but I personally love the creaking leather sound that the liquid provides. And I feel like you get a better shine overall with the liquid. So let's get started. Step 1 is to get all of your supplies ready in advance. A pair of protective gloves, a few soft cloths, and you don't want to use anything that's abrasive because you don't want to scratch your leather. A small bowl, the Fiebing's liquid Leather Sheen, and a large enough workspace to fully lay out your leather. Just pour a small amount of Leather Sheen into the bowl, and now we're ready for step 2, applying the Leather Sheen one small section of leather at a time. I recommend following the seams. What that means is to simply find the seams that make up one portion of your leather garment and apply the Leather Sheen to that one section of leather from start to finish. This helps you keep track of where you're working so you don't miss a spot. I'm wearing gloves because I like to use my hands to directly apply the Leather Sheen onto the leather. I make a cup with my fingers and scoop a small amount of the liquid into my hand, then spread the liquid onto the leather using my fingers. I keep doing this until I have an even coat of the Leather Sheen fully spread across the section of leather that I'm working on. Now, the directions on the bottle say to apply the Leather Sheen by dipping a soft cloth into the liquid and buffing it in. I've done it this way, but I feel like the cloth absorbs so much of the acrylic liquid that a lot of it goes to waste. So again, I'm just gathering a small amount of the liquid into my hands and applying it directly to the leather, and using my fingers to spread it evenly across the leather. Once I have an even coat, I use my fingers to buff the liquid in. It may take a couple of minutes before it starts to turn clear. Be patient, and eventually it will turn clear. And once it does, you'll know you've successfully buffed the leather sheen into your leather. Again, and I cannot emphasize this enough, any white liquid that is left to dry will potentially leave a white residue on your leather that is very hard to remove. If you have a little bit of white residue that isn't rubbing off with your finger, rub the area with a soft, wet cloth. As long as the leather sheen is fresh, it should still be fairly easy to remove with a little bit of water.
So it is really important while you're doing this, not only to concentrate on the area that you're working on, but to look around to see if you spilled anything, because you definitely don't want to let this dry on the leather. So just look around continually and wipe up any messes.
Now, if you feel you've applied too much liquid leather sheen, then grab one of your cloths and use it to buff the liquid into your leather using a circular motion. The cloth will absorb the remaining liquid while helping to shine your leather. Now, before you move on to another section of leather, give your current section a final look over to ensure you fully work the leather sheen in. Check all the nooks and crannies and all the seams and stitches to ensure the liquid has been fully buffed in until it's turned clear. And if you've missed a spot, don't worry. Simply apply a little additional leather sheen and buff it in until the liquid turns clear, and it should blend in perfectly. Once you're satisfied with that section of leather, then go ahead and repeat this process on the rest of your leather, one section at a time.
Listen to how nicely that creaks. It's beautiful, isn't it? Well, Hanson, what do you think of your shined up suit?
I like it a lot. Big improvement. It's shiny, smooth, and creaks the way leather should creak.
Looks fantastic on you.
Thank you.
Love that.
Yeah, it absolutely looks and feels amazing. I think the leather is actually a little bit smoother, but the leather smell hasn't changed at all.
Exactly. It's just shinier and creakier, hence the noise, which is the way leather should be.
Yeah, I've always been very pleased with the results with leather sheen, and I think you will be too. Just so you remember again, if you see any white residue remaining on there, wipe it up, really buff it into your leather. You don't want to let it dry and stain your leather. And again, wear gloves while you use it so you don't have any sticky residue remaining on your hands. But that's how we apply leather sheen to our leather. Good luck with it. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments down below. Hit that subscribe button, and until next time, thanks for watching.